योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्ताम् सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यां च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्. Shloka 78 in Vishnu Sahasranama is Yeko naika savaka kim yattat padamanuttamam loha bandhur lokhanato madhavo bhaktavatsalaha. There are 12 namas in this shloka and they are Yekaha, Naikaha, Savaha, Kaha, Kim, Yat, Tat, Padamanuttamam, Lokabandhuhu, Lokanataha, Madhavaha, Bhakta Valsalaha. So these are the 12 namas in the shloka, and the first nama is Yekaha. Yeka means one. That's the literal meaning of Eka in Sanskritam. Acharya writes, Paramarthata sajatiya vijatiya swagata bheda vinirmuktatvat Ekaha. Bhagavan is beyond the differences, any differences. He is beyond the Sajatiya Betham, Vijatiya Betham, and Swakata Betham. Sajatiya Betham means the difference among the between the same species itself. There is difference between one person and another person. And Vijatiya Betham means difference between the two different species, difference between an animal and a human being. So that is Vijatiya Betham. And Swagata Beta means the difference with the same form itself, same object itself, difference between my eyes and my hands. So these are the different external differences. So when there are differences, there will be many. Bhagavan is beyond all these differences, and so he is Ekaha. He is that reality, non-dual reality. And Chandogya Upanishad in 6.2.1, it says that Ekam Eva Advitiyam. Ekam means one, Eva means only one, and Advitiyam, that is non-dual. So that's the right way of telling. We should not even say one, because when we say one, then it is finite. It's included in the number system and it is one. One is finite. But Bhagavan is not finite. So one has to say it as non-dual, not two. That's the right way of telling. The Upanishads tell Brahman only in that way, non-dual, not two. So Bhagavan is Ekam. And Naikaha means contradictory to it. Naikaha means many. He is many. Mayaya bahurupatvat. Because of Maya, it seems Bhagavan is multiple. Bhagavan has multiple forms. It seems. Because when we see it through Prakriti, then Prakriti or Maya is multiple. It has many and it is divided. So when we see Bhagavan through Maya, then he appears as many. He appears as multiple forms. For example, when we stand in front of a wall where there are many small mirrors fixed. Just imagine like that. Small, round mirrors fixed on it. When we stand in front of it, how do we appear? We appear as multiple forms, is it not? So just like that, through Maya, Bhagavan appears as many. So he is Naikaha. So this is similar to Aneka Murti of the previous shloka. And Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in 2.5.19 in that sloka it says, Indro Mayabi Pururuba Iyate. That is, he is perceived as manifold. And in the transcendental level, he appears or he is Ekaha. In the transactional level, he is Naikah, not Ekah. And the next nama is Savaha. Sava is a yajna where to the deities the soma juice is given in the end of the sacrifice. In the ancient time, Bhagavan Vishnu is worshipped in the rupa of the yajna. So the Bhagavan Vishnu is worshipped by the Sava Yajnaha, and so he is called as Savaha. Savaha is the Soma sacrifice which embodies Bhagavan Vishnu. And the next nama is Kaha. Kaha means who in masculine gender in Sanskritam. Kaha means who. But here the interpretation is given as different by the acharyas. Kaha shabdah sukha vachakah tena suyate iti kaha. That is, ka is the sound emanating from happiness. When we have happiness, we just say ka. So, Bhagavan Vishnu, since he embodies bliss and happiness, he is worshipped with this sound, and so he represents happiness, and hence he is called Kaha. So, Kaha means happiness, bliss, and that is Bhagavan Vishnu. And the Chandogya Upanishad in 4.10.5, it says, Come Brahma, happiness is Brahma. So Bhagavan is given that nama Kaha. Next nama is a Kim. Kim means what in Sanskritam. What is Brahman? A true spiritual seeker will get the answer for it. What is Brahman? Only the spiritual seeker or a jnani knows the real nature of Brahman. Bhagavan Vishnu, he is the ultimate truth. He is Brahman as well as the ultimate truth. And so he is given that nama Kim. What? What is Brahman? What is Bhagavan Vishnu? He is to be inquired and known, and hence this nama Kim. And the Chandogya Upanishad, Shloka 871, supports this interpretation. It says that Brahman has to be known. Brahman has to be inquired into for realization. He is to be inquired, and so Bhagavan Vishnu gets that nama Kim. Bhagavan Vishnu is not different from Brahman. The next nama is similar to it, Yat, which means which. It indicates the self-sustaining entity, which denotes Brahman, and Bhagavan Vishnu is not different from Brahman. So Bhagavan Vishnu gets that nama Yat. And the Taittiriya Upanishad in 3.1.1 shloka, it says, Yato va imami bhutani jayante, from which all these beings have come out, yet is that which is already existent, and that is Bhagavan Vishnu. The next nama, Tat. Tat means that. We say Brahman as Tat, because Brahman is not a name. Cannot say it as a concept also. Brahman means Brahman. We give that nama itself. We say it as Brahman because it is infinite, all pervading. It's infinite, all pervading. There is no nama for it. If it has a rupa, then we can give a nama for it. Brahman doesn't have a rupa. Bhagavan Vishnu is not different from Brahman. He has taken that form for us to understand him, for the true bhaktas to perceive him through bhakti. Because the jnanis, they understand their self, they can grasp this abstract concept. But the bhaktas, they cannot grasp this abstract concept so easily. So for that, he has taken the rupa for the bhaktas. So actually, Tat is Brahman. That's why in the great temples like Shabarimala, they have written that Tattvamasi, you are that. You are that. The guru will say that to the students, you are that. That means Brahman. That means Atma. That means Paramatma. That means Brahman. You are that core being. That's the meaning of it. Tanoti iti Brahma Tat. That which pervades everywhere and that expands is Tat. And in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, shloka 23, it says, Om Tat Sat iti nirdesho Brahmanaha Trivida Smritaha. That Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat. These are the threefold representation known to indicate Brahman. We can say Brahman as Om. We can say Brahman as Tat, that. We can say Brahman as Sat, the truth, reality, that ultimate truth. So Brahman denotes Bhagavan. Tat means Brahman, which is refers to Bhagavan Vishnu also. So by that nama he is called Tat. The next nama, eighth nama is Padamanuttamam. Padam means the destination of for a seeker, the final resting place, the final resort of a seeker. So Padam is the destination of a seeker. Anuttamam means incomparable. It's an adjective. It's an adjective for the nama Padam. So Padam Anuttamam means that uh, place or that destination which is incomparable for the seeker. Bhagavan Vishnu is the supreme state of liberation attained by any spiritual seeker. There is no goal higher than Bhagavan Vishnu. That is the right meaning of it. And the next nama is Loka Bandhu. Bhagavan is the Bandhu, that is the relative of all the Loka, the entire creation. He is the substrandum, He is the support for all of us. It is in Him we all exist. Without Him, there is no other relative permanent than Bhagavan Vishnu. We all have relatives, but they are all for a certain period of time. When our phase of life changes, that relatives also will change, or they will have a distance from us. Just like that, they fade away. But the relationship with Bhagavan is permanent, and it is for millions and millions of years now. We are all related to Bhagavan. If we recognize it or not, we may be aware of it or not. We are all bound to Him. We are all tied to Him. It is only of Bhagavan, only because of Bhagavan, we are all able to do our karma or whatever we do. That's the meaning of the opening shloka of all the episodes of Vishnu Sahasranama also. Yonta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam sanjeevayatyakila shaktidhara swadhamna anyam cha hasta charana shravana tvagadin Prananamo Bhagavati Purushaya Tubhyam. You, the all-pervading Bhagavan, who has infinite power, you have entered in me and you make me speak. You make me perform the actions. You make me walk. You make me do everything what all I do. Without you, I cannot even breathe. You are that one who make me do this. So to that Bhagavan, I worship. Purushaya Tubhyam. That Purusha who is in me, I worship that Purusha. So that's the meaning of this opening shloka of all the episodes of Vishnu Sahasranama. It's the first shloka of Dhruvastuti. So, Bhagavan is related to all of us in all ways. We may not be aware of it, but because without Him, we will not be able to do anything. We think that it is our talent to do everything. All this talent, our practice, our knowledge, everything appears as impressions in the mind. But without illuminating the mind, it will be just inert. Bhagavan Vishnu, as the indwelling spirit in us, he gives power to the mind and buddhi, and because of that, all those impressions, it shines. So Bhagavan is the Loka Bandhu. And the next nama is Lokanatha. Bhagavan is the Lord of this entire creation. He is worshipped by all and he bestows prosperity to his bhaktas. He protects the world, rules the world, and so he is called Lokanatha. As per the Puranas, there are 14 lokas. 7 are above this atmosphere and 7 below this. The 7 lokas above this are Bhuloka, Bhuvaloka, Swarloka, Maharloka, then Janaloka, uh, Navaloka, and Satyaloka. Satyaloka is the Brahmaloka. We say where the Chaturmukha Brahma resides. And below this, Athala, Vithala, Suthala, Talathala, Mahathala, Rasathala, Pathala. So these are the 14 lokas. That is, it means the different levels of consciousness. In this loka, that is Bhuloka, this Bhumi, we were able to have experience, we will be able to experience only one sense. When we speak, all the other senses will be very dull. When I see, all the other will be dull. But in Swaloka, all the 5 senses are active. And there is something bad about it also. When all the senses are active, and if it doesn't give pleasure, what will we do? But there in that loka, only happiness will be there. We will be able to experience only happiness. So that is possible in Bhuloha also. When we don't think anything negative, always positive, then that's happiness. So, anyway, it's the different level of experiencing consciousness. That consciousness, the different levels of consciousness. And the next nama, 11th nama, is Madhavaha. One who is born in the Madhu Kula is Madhavaha. And one who is the consort of Ma Lakshmi is Madhavaha. And the next nama and the last nama in this shloka, Bhakta Vatsalaha. Bhakta Vatsala means one who loves his bhaktas immensely. The way we relate to Bhagavan, in that same way he will reciprocate to us. If we think that Bhagavan Krishna or Bhagavan Vishnu is our friend, then he will relate to us in the same manner. If we connect with Bhagavan as our Lord, then he will reciprocate to us in the same way. If we consider Bhagavan Shiv as our Guru, then definitely he will impart us knowledge in one way or other. So like this, the way we connect with Bhagavan, he will reciprocate to us in the same way. So that's the meaning of the 12 namas in this shloka. And the summary of this shloka is, he is the one without a second, and due to Maya, he appears as many. He is worshipped in the form of Yagna, and he represents happiness. He is seeked by the jnanis and the final destination of the true spiritual seeker. He is all pervading, ever existent. He is the destination of the seekers. He is the substantum and he is our only permanent relation to all the beings. He is the consort of Devi Lakshmi and he loves his bhaktas immensely. So that's the meaning of this shloka. I will continue with the next shloka in my next upload. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि। ओम तत्सत्।